Good morning, guys. So today we're going to be trying out the Glamoflauge Hard Candy Foundation. I have got mine in number 934 light medium, and it says a transforming liquid powder foundation that absorbs oils, delivers a long-lasting finish, full coverage without looking cakey, and it says it should last for 12 hours of flawless protection and transfer resistant. A lot of claims for this Hard Candy foundation. So I think I paid about $7 for this at Walmart. And we're gonna go ahead and just put it to an all-day wear test. Getting ready for work, I'm running late, and we're gonna see what it does. So I'm gonna go ahead and just pump some here on my hand. It's not very thick, but it doesn't move around, so that's good. So it's semi-thick when it comes to that. Let's see here. Let's do this side here with the beauty blender and see what it does. Alright, so this is this side here with the blender. I think it covers pretty well for the most part on this side. The color is slightly light for my skin. Maybe not too much. I think I can make that work. Probably will if I continue to use this foundation. I'll most likely mix a dark colored drop in there from the drops that I have, just to get it to match a little bit better to my skin tone. But as far as everything else goes, I think it looks okay with the blender side. So let's go on to the other side with a brush. Alright, so the brush side was obviously a lot quicker to put it on, and I feel like the side with the blender actually looks a little bit more full coverage than the brush side does. I'm not sure if this was a matte foundation. Did it say matte on it? It doesn't say that it's a matte foundation, so I'm not too sure, but it does say powder, powder-like, so powdered coverage, so I'm sure that's why it looks matte. It's not dewy at all right now, so that's really good. It's just kind of sitting there. It doesn't seem to be caking up in my lines of my forehead and under my eyes. It doesn't look too bad, but I have been getting some puffiness, so that's not from the foundation. It's because my eyes are puffy and I'm not getting enough sleep. So I'm gonna go ahead and go put the rest of my makeup on. Right now I'm running so late. It is 6:44 in the morning. I'll be right back to show you what it looks like with other makeup on top of it. But so far, I don't mind it at all. I think it looks good. It's not very dewy at all. It actually dried down pretty quick. So this is one that you might need to work pretty fast with before it dries down. But we'll see. So I'll be right back and show you what the makeup looks like. Alright guys, so this is the finished makeup look. I think the foundation does really great with other makeups, like most of them do. I haven't ran into a foundation that really moves around when I put on other makeup on top of it. So this one does good. It really does. It does really well. It is a little light for my skin, and that's, I mean, just I bought the wrong color, so I will have to adjust it if I continue to wear this foundation. It dries extremely fast on the face, and it dries down to a powdery finish, which is what it said on the back of the bottle. So that was very nice. It's not creasing or gathering in the lines of my forehead, and on the side of my nose, it's not gathering there either, which is where I normally get foundation gathering really rather quickly. So we'll see how that holds up today while I'm at work, if it starts to gather there. Normally I get a lot of gathering there. So I'm gonna go ahead and head to work. I'm a little running late, just a little bit, so I'm gonna head to work. I should be back on my lunch break, and then I'll be back at the end of the night to give you a final thought on this foundation. But so far I really like it, so I'll be back and we'll talk to you guys later. Bye bye. All right guys, so I am on my lunch break. It is now 1:08 in the afternoon, so I think we've had this foundation on for about 6.5 hours, maybe 6 hours or so. It's doing really well. It's still staying very matte. I am starting to get just a little shiny, and if you can see here, it's starting to gather a little bit in the nose area. I'm going to take my blender here on the clean side and just kind of pat away some of those oils. Alright, there we go. So I think after patting away the oils, the foundation looks really good so far. It is starting to fade just a little bit right here in this area, which is pretty normal for my skin. Sometimes foundation will fade that way in that area. I'm not too dewy, and so far I'm still liking the foundation. You can see where it has definitely faded away under my glasses here, but I think the coverage is staying pretty well on the sides of my face here. It's starting to show through just a little bit, and that's okay because it's been on for a while, but so far so good. So I'm gonna go ahead and go and talk to my kids because they're home, and I'm gonna go back to work, and then I'll come back again in about another 4 hours and show you what it looks like at that point. But so far I'm liking this foundation. It feels really nice on the face. I don't feel like I have foundation on, and I think the rest of my contour and my blush has stood on all day. I don't think I put any highlight on today. I must have forgotten. So everything looks good so far. I'll be back in a couple more hours, and I'll talk to you guys later. Hi guys. So it is now the end of my night, and it's been 10.5 hours that I've had the foundation on. It is now 5:07 in the evening, and I kind of like this foundation. I don't mind it at all. It has stayed in place for most of the day. Now it's definitely starting to fade a little bit in some of the areas, but the foundation has done a really good job of holding up to my oily skin for a good 10.5 hours. And I think if I continue to wear it on through the night, it's not going to fade much more than it already has. So let's go ahead and read some claims on this real quick. So it says that it lasts for about 12 hours on your skin, and I believe that it will. I think that I can still see some coverage on my face, and it's been 10.5 hours, almost 11 hours. So I believe that that is a really good statement when it comes to that. It says full coverage without the look of cakiness. I think that I did have a full coverage face for the most part, most of the day, except for now that it's starting to come on the 12-hour mark of this foundation, that you can kind of see where it's fading a little bit in some of the areas here where I do rest my hands, you know, when I'm bored at work waiting for people to come and talk to me or something like that while I'm just kind of hanging out, or in the areas on my nose here where it started caking up just a little bit. And that's just because of the oils that I have on my face, and my face gets really rather oily. I think the foundation held my oils at bay really well for the most part. So I'm going to take off half of it so we can see where the coverage is as far as the foundation goes. So let me go ahead and do that real quick. And I am just using the L'Oreal Miracle Water, Marcella water. I like this stuff. So we'll go ahead and start down the middle here. Try to keep the rest of my makeup on. Now, just going down the middle, you can see I still have a lot of foundation on, and you can probably see here on my forehead where that side and that side. So it does still have a pretty good coverage on it as far as that goes. Now I do have a concealer on as well, and I use the Born This Way this concealer. So under the eyes, has a lot to do with the Born This Way concealer and the foundation itself. So it's not just the foundation that I have under the eyes, I do have concealer on. So just be aware of that. There we go. Here's the side with the foundation still, and then here's the side without it. And then here's both. So I think that it has done really well at covering and keeping everything in place for the amount of time that I've had it on. Actually, I've been super impressed with some of the products from Hard Candy, like the eyeshadow palette that I did a review on. I'll link that up below so you can watch it if you haven't seen it. I think the eyeshadow palette for the price is a really nice palette. I think the foundation is a really nice foundation. I do think that it does give you that almost powder look after you put it on, which it does claim to, you know, have like its own finish to it, and I think it does do that. I think it does do a wonderful job of staying in place throughout the day, and you can see the difference. You know, there's still, I mean, I still have foundation on my skin, that's some lipstick, but I think it does a really good job. So I would actually suggest this. Now, the hard thing about, you know, any foundation that you get at the drugstore is finding the right color. I think that these drops that I have are going to help out a lot when it comes to a lot of foundations that I've bought at the drugstore, because I can try to get as close to my skin tone as I can, but if I feel it's just a little bit too light or too dark, I can adjust it with those drops. So keep that in mind if you have these foundations that don't match you completely. I would go and pick up some of those drops. But when it comes to this Hard Candy foundation, I do like this. I think it's a really nice foundation. I think it will last on people that have oily skin. I think it will last on somebody that has natural skin, and for somebody that has dry skin, I don't feel like it did any caking up in some areas where I do have some dry portions on my face. I do have like an acne patch here that gets kind of dry throughout the day, and it did not cling to that, so I was really impressed by that as well. So I do like this. I believe it was around $7. I've got the light medium color, and so I think that if you're looking for a good foundation that will last for 12 hours on your face, I think this is a good one to try out. I give this one a thumbs up. I really do. And if I have to rate it from 1 to 10, I would give this one I would say a 9. I think it's a really good foundation. So that is my review on this foundation. Let me know if you've tried it. What are your thoughts on this foundation? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Is it something that you would suggest to your friends and family? I think it's a good one. So that's all I have for this foundation today, guys. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please take the time to do so now. And I shall talk to you guys on Sunday. Bye!